I'm Carly Civello and I'm a talking person. And today I am not just talking to myself, I have a wonderful guest with me today. First guest on the pod. Today I have the lovely, insanely talented Monica Reeves. Monica, oh my gosh, it's so nice to
Hi.
have you. Hi.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, I've only seen your face in like your little Instagram picture, so it's like face reveal, voice reveal.
Yeah, I'm a real person.
A real human woman. Monica is a motion designer with a BFA in visual communication. We actually met through a couple online challenges on Instagram, some projects like 36 Days of Type, the Lettering Style Challenge from Aurelie. So without further ado, Monica, tell us a bit about yourself, your art, before we dive into today's topic.
All right, so I'm Monica. I like to tell people that I went to graphic design school by mistake because I always wanted to be a character animator. And the school that I went to is a fantastic school, and they have this new media emphasis where they stress that you get to do like game development and like character animation and stuff. And I got there, and a senior told me, "Oh, this is not that. This is not that. You should leave. You should go somewhere else." And I was like, "Well, surely, like that isn't the case." And sure enough, I ended up taking the same like motion design class 4 times in a row to get the new media emphasis. Thankfully, that I had the same teacher, so he made it harder and harder on me versus like other students. And I ended up really liking motion design because I like to think that I can do whatever I want, because some motion designers do 3D, some of them do
Yeah.
character animation. There's really no limit. It's just like we make animation for advertising. That's like the big difference, is like who we're making the animations for.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, so happy to have you. I'm really excited. As I said, you are the first guest, so we've Monica was so sweet, came on early for us to like test out everything. I did mute my microphone again, so thankfully I have a guest here to actually like tell me when I'm muted.
Yep.
Yeah, so glad to have you. We did talk about a few topics that we wanted to get into. I have some questions, of course. You have a motion design background, and you are working on a very unique set of letters and numbers this year for 36 Days of Type, kind of Carly's edition. So tell me, how did you come up with the series this year? I have not seen anything like it. I'd love to hear more about how you came up with it, your process, all that stuff.
So I actually had a couple alternative ideas. So the thing that I'm doing is I am collaborating with as many artists as I can. I've specifically reached out to people who have done the lettering, or not lettering challenge, the
Mhm.
36 days of type before. So that way it's a little bit easier on them, because I'm just asking them to have access to the work that they've already done, as opposed to being like,
Mhm.
"Hey, can you make this for me?" And then I'll animate it, because, people are busy. And um, I actually had some worst case scenarios before going into this. I was like, well, I'm going to reach out to a bunch of people who did it last year, because I assume they might want to do it this year. And if they don't, they might still want to see their work animated.
Yeah.
And I initially reached out to 36 artists, and a little more than half of them said yes. I did have a few people say no, and I had a few people,
Mhm.
not respond, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
So after I had, half the people say yes, I was like, okay, I'm going to reach out to even more people, including people with significantly larger, followings than me, which, you're one of them. And I would say there's maybe 4 or 5 like pretty well-known artists
Mhm.
who have agreed to let me animate their work, which is really cool.
I know, didn't Women of Type? She,
Yes,
she
Jess
was your day
Goldsmith.
one. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jess is great.
she's awesome. I will say, like, most people are sending me their work. With
Mhm.
Jess, it was kind of like, I didn't realize when I had approached her that she hadn't done the full like set of types. She did A, B, and C. So
Okay.
then I was initially saving A for myself, and then I was like, okay, well, I have to give her A. I have to give her the letter A.
Hmm.
And her piece, thankfully, like, I was able to recreate it because I didn't receive a project file from her. I basically just like, I got permission from her
Okay,
to animate
wow.
it. So the edges are like curved, and I just
Hmm.
had them move the whole time. That way, like, you can't really you can't
There's
know.
motion, so like you
Yeah,
can't. Yeah,
you
that's
can't
smart.
know that it isn't the like exact project file, but
Yeah.
it's still the spirit of her design, and she approved the
Mhm.
animation before I posted it.
That is so cool.
It's so cool.
It is so awesome. No, I love that idea. When you reached out to me, I was like, first of all, flattered. I was so excited. Because I've done some motion, but I obviously do not have the level of expertise that you do. I think I did like 2 projects in After Effects in college, so I was so excited to see you animate other pieces, and I was so excited for Kay. If any of you want to go and see the one we did my Kay for Ketchup. I did a food alphabet last year, and I absolutely love what you did with it. I
That
was
makes
so
me so
happy.
happy. That was the other like worst case scenario. I'm like, what if an
Huh.
artist doesn't like the animation? And
No, it was
thankfully,
so good.
everyone's liked it so far.
Yeah, and I also felt like the one letter you like when you said you had K open. I know you like mentioned a few. I thought that the S for spaghetti would be good, but I also remembered that when I drew that, I remembered I collapsed my noodle layers, and so I was like, I think we might run into an issue if like we try to have stuff twirling. So then I thought about the K, and I love that line of ketchup going down.
I
So oh
do
my gosh, yeah,
too.
I can't wait to see. For yeah, I was gonna say we're recording this on what's today? Today was P.
Hmm.
So I was gonna say, yeah, we both just posted our P letters. I was gonna say, I guess I can talk about it. Because I'm doing Wes Anderson, I did the private dining room from French Dispatch today. And your P, who did you work for with P? I just saw it.
Uh, Pili Enrique. I'm not exactly sure how to say her name because she is Spanish.
Yeah. That's her
But
handle though. Let me see.
yeah,
I feel like I have her handle.
she's awesome. I really like her series
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I love her stuff. Yeah, I was gonna say, what artists are you seeing who you're really liking their stuff this year? I feel like, of course, you. I really love Pilly's work. Who do I have? Um,
I
Marty
always
Gutierrez
love.
doing cool work
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah, super cool.
Hmm.
Um, I really like Feel You Creative, Megan.
Yes. Oh my
She had an
gosh.
awesome series last year, and she actually gave me the
Yes.
option to do last year's M, and I
Hmm.
couldn't get it to work, so I did this year's M instead, and I love how it turned out.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. I also love Aditi's doing really great stuff. I
Yeah.
appreciate when people go back to traditional 2D art. I kept getting there was someone who commented every year on my 36 days of type. They were like, I wish I had an iPad or else I would do this. I wish I had an iPad or I would do this. And guys, I hate to break it to you. The iPad does not make the art. When I started doing I'm sure you experienced this. When I first opened Procreate, was not making the level of, the quality of work that I am making now with it. It's like any software, you have to learn it. How long have
Yeah.
you been working in Procreate? Talk a little bit about kind of learning Procreate and
I
the tools that
I
you use.
I got my first iPad 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh,
So
same.
that's about how long I've been working in Procreate. And funny thing, to this day, I am not very good at Photoshop. I know like the basics, but when I saw your file and like how you do your layers, I was like, "Oh, she knows Photoshop."
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually like, I was so glad that you asked for last year's because this year I've been a little more chaotic. Last year I was so organized, like I had my files were all set up the exact same. I had layers and grouping, and this year it's like I think for this the letter P I did, I think I had like 50 layers and they're not in any order.
I work so destructively, and seeing a bunch of other people's project files is
Yeah.
making me realize like, oh, I need to get my stuff together because these people name their layer. I know some people probably like made
Yeah.
it friendly for me before
Yeah.
sending me the files, but yeah, no, I work destructively. I love merging, like swiping on the Procreate
Oh yeah,
layers
she deletes cropped pixels, ladies and gentlemen.
all the time,
They're
all the
gone.
time.
The pixels have been
And
deleted.
I regret it all the time. I don't all the time.
No, I feel that too. There are some projects that was something that again we learned in school when like I had an intro to digital design tools course, and I had like kind of grown up with the Adobe suite. My mom's a designer and photographer, and so when I first got into it, they were like, "Yeah, uncheck this box, you guys." Like we had a whole lesson on destructive editing, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I've been doing all those things.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
horrible."
I think half the battle is just knowing the difference, like knowing that there is an option to work non destructively so that when you're doing your own projects, just do it the way you want, do it whatever's convenient to you so that you get the work done. But obviously if you're working with a client who can go like, oh, actually I want to go back to version 2 after you're like 72, versions in, and then you're like,
72.
I mean, hopefully not.
No, I've had those projects. I had like
Yeah.
V41 on something. Oh my gosh, no. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. Let's talk about working for clients because oh my gosh, we both do it. And I relate to the like, oh, let's go back to V2. I'm sure you have this. The classic client conundrum that we have is like, hey, we really love all three options. Can we merge them together? Can we Frankenstein it?
I try. I try my best. Usually so something that I learned in school, cuz my professors are awesome. They are like
Mhm.
like senior art directors. They are all awesome. And my senior year, I got so tired of like trying to interpret what they wanted from me that I just started giving them like multiple options. Like they would give me one assignment and I would hand in three and be like, okay, which one of these is moving
Oh,
on? And I got
that's so
praised for that.
smart.
And that's what I do in my
So
professional work
smart.
too. So, like, for
Oh
instance, we were
my
talking
gosh.
about Pilly's P earlier.
Uh-huh.
Actually, no, my bad. Jess Goldsmith, Chick
Yeah,
of
yeah,
all
the A.
trades.
Yeah.
I sent her probably 4 animations because I had 4 ideas, and I'm like, well, what the heck? I'll send her all of them and let her choose. And she was so sweet. She was like, I love them all. I don't know what to pick. So I ended up choosing. But if that were a client situation, they would be able to tell me, you know, they can't speak in creative terms. Like I feel like
No.
we are
Yeah.
trying to translate for them most of the time because they don't speak our language. And if I give them multiple options, they are more likely to be able to point out what they do and don't like about things. And then that helps me do the revision.
Yeah.
And it also gives me practice.
Yeah, I feel like giving people that's so true that we really act as translators. I feel I had a
Yeah.
creative director tell me that you're really less of an artist in that meeting than you are a salesman. Like you really have to sell the work and get them to understand the vision. And yeah, when I that totally shifted the way I present. I present totally differently now than
Yep.
I did when I was out of school because I was out of school and I was like, well, obviously this one looks better. Like it's
Yeah.
kerned beautifully, this and this and this. And that's just not how
Yeah.
clients understand the work. They look at it and you have to give them options because it gives them something tangible to go like, oh yeah, that one. And yeah, more often than not, they want to Frankenstein things.
Yes. And a lot of people in my field still don't really know what motion design is. Because if I tell them animation, they think Disney. And if I tell them graphic
Yeah.
design, they think, oh, can you make this in Canva? And I'm like, and I have to like explain to them, I'm like, when you open an app on your phone and then there's like a logo animation, or like
Yeah.
how Coca-Cola has these really like polished commercials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to like show them 10 examples before they start to get
Yeah.
that it's like a higher level of video editing.
Yeah.
And they still need to be convinced of the value. And I have to sell them. And I think that's what holds back a lot of creatives is the ability to both communicate your value and sell your work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know 100%. I think that oh my god, no, you just said yeah, I think that that's absolutely true. It holds so many creatives back. I feel for those creatives who do really exceptional work, but they just have not honed their presentation skills yet. I was definitely
Yeah.
in that boat at the start, when I started in college, like my presenting skills were not there and you can absolutely kill a good creative piece by not knowing how to sell
Yeah.
it. If you don't go
And
into that room with confidence, the clients will know that you're not confident and they won't feel confident in the work.
yeah. And I to this day I still make so many mistakes and I'm still, learning, but I think when you get to the point where you are really studying how other people handle their business and you start to realize, okay, this is wrong, but I don't know why it's wrong. That's like the first step is just acknowledging that
Yeah.
your process can be better and trying to figure out how to do that.
I I'm constantly changing my process. I don't know about you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll like every year for 36 days of type and I love it. Like it's my fifth year doing it. I love looking back at old projects and every time I look back, I feel like I saw a post that was like you know you're improving when you look at work you did a year ago and you want to change a million things about it. And I feel
Yeah.
that way so much when I look at my previous 36 days of type work. I see my first year and I want to go back and redo it. And I feel like people like need to give themselves permission to that. Like go back and change your old work and add it to your portfolio. I feel like that's something people should be doing more. I love revisiting an old project. And I feel like with 36 days of type, we get to revisit this
Yeah,
alphabet, this Latin alphabet and numbers every year. And it's just so cool to watch styles evolve.
absolutely. And it's really cool, the community aspect of it, because you also
Yeah.
see, you know, creatives coming back year after year and then remembering, oh, they had like a completely different series last year. I didn't know they
Mm-hmm.
could do this. And again, to communicating your value, like I have been a motion designer since school and I love to draw. I know
Mm-hmm.
how to graphic design, and I feel like I have featured those skills a lot more on social media. So
Yeah.
now I'm actively trying to incorporate motion into the work that I do so that people start
Mm-hmm.
seeing me as the motion person
Yeah.
that they
And
can go to.
what a great skill to have too, because there is this shift now to, I mean, when I was in school, it was, we heard in one of our lectures, it was 70 something percent of the content you're seeing now is video. And that was when I was in school. So that was probably 2021. I had that lecture. So like I imagine it's probably like closer to 90% now, the content that we're consuming online. So what do you think of that shift? I mean, you're a motion designer, so it obviously hasn't been as much of a struggle, but it's so easy to share 2D work. So how have you adjusted to this kind of short form content era with your artwork?
It's kind of hard to put it into like my work per se,
Mhm.
because for the past 2 years I've been working at a TV station. So we were focused on commercials, and
Mhm.
now I did end up resigning from that job because I want something more focused on digital social
Yeah.
media, because I think that would help with the kind of business that I want to create. And I recently read a book called what is it? Day Trading Attention
Okay.
by Gary Vee. And one of the things he repeatedly talks about in this book is we are in an era called the TikTokification of social media, because ever since TikTok came out, every other platform is shifting to compete with them by
Yeah.
also copying their mechanics. So
Yeah.
like we recently saw that Instagram lengthened the reels to 3 minutes, which, you
Yeah.
know, who else does that? And I'm waiting for the day, cuz here's the thing. The thing that I love about TikTok is the duets and the stitches. And
Mm.
I rarely do that, but those are the two features that I'm waiting for another social media platform to copy,
And I
because
think that
I
Instagram is.
oh really?
Have you seen? So I don't know if it's because my account's monetized, which by the way, I make like 1 cent a month. I literally just got an invoice for Meta. Sidetrack. Sorry, I
Yep.
digress, but I got an invoice for
Fascinating to
Meta.
know.
I got an invoice for Meta, and it was this whole document. I was like, ooh, an invoice. Did I make two, three, maybe 16 cents? $0. The invoice was literally, I like, it was 000. It was like service fee zero, total zero. Thanks, guys. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think Instagram is coming out with something soon because I keep getting, they were like, do you want to try out our new platform edits when it comes out? And I have a feeling that they are going to create a like cap cut version for Instagram.
Oh.
I think that they are going to make like layout software for carousels. I forget what that one's called where like it's scroller, I think, where you can put different photos so that when you scroll it's seamless through a carousel. I think they're making their own editing platform and I feel like they would put stitches and duets in there. That's my
I
hypothesis.
I think that's a good assumption to make. An assumption that I'm going to make live on the pod right
Go
now.
for it.
Something I didn't realize that TikTok did until I listened to that audiobook I told you about
Yeah.
was that when you swipe through images, like an image carousel on TikTok, when you get to the last image and swipe, it goes to the person's
Profile.
profile. And I bet Instagram's going to do that.
Oh, I no doubt. I mean, how long would
100%.
it take them to add that feature? Like 2
Yep.
seconds? I mean, yeah, it's also absolutely crazy this algorithm. I remember that was one of the reasons why, the owners of the 36 Days of Type Challenge, I remember their post a year ago. It was like, hey, we're pausing this. We're going to look to the future. We'll give more information soon. But like this algorithm has made it too difficult for us. And I feel like in a way, like we have to be adaptable. So
Yeah.
instead of like, I know the hashtags, that was a huge way for me to find other artists. I mean, readjust my seat. That was a huge way for me to find other artists were those
Hmm.
hashtags. Like I would follow them. I followed typography, graphic design, like studio art. I followed all of them, like small business owner, Etsy. And I still do, but that doesn't come up in my feed. They have that. I mean, the Reels tab has kind of become like the For You tab on Instagram, I feel. And so one of the ways that at least I've adapted for my community is having people tag me in the work, because then I go over to my tag tab and I can scroll through and share from there instead of doing the hashtags.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like that was the way I adapted these last 2 years for the 36 Days of Type project. And I know some other people have done it differently. Like I know Jess, Chick of All Trade, Women of Type, she was like, tag me in your posts, invite me to collaborate, and maybe I'll add it to the feed. So I
Yeah.
just think there are other ways that we can, adapt to the changing landscape. I think the video content, for me, it was a big struggle. I did not want to do video. I remember a few
Yeah.
years ago, I was like, I do graphic design, I do beautiful layouts, I do type, and like I don't need everything to be moving. And obviously I've changed my tune, as now I'm going to be cranking out podcasts and these little clips, and I do the process videos. But I've actually learned that, I mean, I think it's grown the community, at least mine. I have people reaching out to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you could do this in Procreate, and I saw it in your process video. So I don't know if you've experienced that, but I do feel like as much as I didn't want to get into doing video as 90% of my content, I feel like it's been a good way to reach new people.
Yeah. And one of the alternative ideas that I had to the 36 days of collaboration was to do 36 days of tutorials where I show like so many different ways that I can apply motion to type.
I love that.
And I know it's a great
I
idea,
love
right?
that.
But everyone kept saying yes. So obviously I'm doing the
Yeah.
collaborations, but
You know what you should do? Do you know what you should do? I feel like after 36 days of type ends, I always like just like the wind's out of my sails. And I feel like there's just like this release because you're done after so
mhm.
much content, after posting every day. You should do an additional 36 days after where you go through
How
your
I made
process
this.
for each one,
Oh,
which I mean doubles your content.
true. True.
I think that would be really cool.
I thought about doing like different content for different platforms, like doing a follow-up video over on like TikTok of like a 3-minute version of the video just showing the tutorial, but that's a lot of content to make as opposed
Yeah.
to like me just doing the animation. So
Yeah.
I don't want to like formally announce this because who knows how burnt out I'm going to be
Oh, don't worry.
in May.
There's only 4
But
subscribers to this so far.
okay,
You can
okay,
say
cool.
whatever you want and no one will care.
Okay, cool. So, in May, I'm actually debating. There's a character animation course that I really want to do, and I'm debating if I should do like a bunch of mermaids for Mermay.
That's so fun.
Um, so we'll see if I have the motivation to do that. But that's a future
You
idea that I
should.
have.
You
I
totally
might.
should. Oh my
I
gosh,
might.
I have this like light. The sun is going down, as you can
Mm-hmm.
probably tell. I have this light. Mm.
Ooh.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna put it up to see if we can like maybe get some better lighting here.
Yeah,
Maybe this will be
when you
better.
told me that daylight would be good for this, I did also turn on like my ceiling light,
Yeah.
but
Oh, how's that?
um it looks good. It looks cozy.
She's voguing. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see. Oh, that turns it. Okay, here we go. Let's turn it down a little bit. Don't want it super aggressive. Don't do too much.
Yeah.
Very demure with
Oh,
my lighting.
I like your tattoos.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Tattoo tour. I have a lobster. This was done by My Lower Back Hurts, my wonderful friend Milo. I have been friends with them for over a decade. We met in a in the Susquehanna Women's Chorale, and they are now a
Ooh.
tattoo artist. I think they're in their third year. But our
I
careers
was
have it's been funny. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask, were they a tattoo artist when you met them?
They were
Or
not. We
did
were both in high school, so we met in high
oh,
school,
so
and it's
cool.
yeah, and it's odd. Like she's coming to my wedding next month, and I love her so much. But yeah, our careers have actually it's been funny. We've kind of followed the same trajectory. Like it's funny every time she announces she's moving studios, like I get a promotion the same week or the following week or like move agencies. So for the last
Oh.
3 years, we've kind of like I was getting so I this is for my cat. This was illustrated by Ethan Carroll. He's like not Kroll on Instagram. And then she did the tattoo of it.
Very nice.
But yeah, when she was doing that, I had just gotten my new job, and she was like, "That's so funny, I'm moving." And I had just told her that I was interviewing for jobs a couple months ago, and she was like, "I am moving studios again." So it's I no, I love her, but yeah, my lower back hurts. She did that one, that one. I have a few others. But yeah, this is not a tattoo tour video. But yeah, little lobster.
I love them. I don't know how people feel like on the colored versus non-colored tattoos, but I love colored tattoos.
I almost thought about it. I loved the look of black and white, but then I thought, like, knowing me, I was like, let's just have some color. I mean, people have seen my artwork. It's like I can't imagine doing a full
Yeah.
black and white moment. Um, and yeah,
For me,
I love gaming too. So like, I have a Minecraft frog on my one calf, and then I have a Team Mystic, like the Articuno on my other. So
oh my gosh, Minecraft. See,
yeah,
I haven't played Minecraft since they didn't have frogs. So
yeah. No, I hadn't played in a few years. I played in middle school. I did like all
Mhm.
the beta versions, and I was in Minecraft Club, the only girl
Ooh.
member
Oh,
at the
you were an
time.
early adopter.
I was an early adopter. I was like a 2011, 2012 crafter,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I was very lucky. We had a wonderful computer science teacher, Bob Irving, who had us using redstone in Minecraft. He used that to
Oh,
teach
that's so
coding.
smart.
He
That's
used it
so
yeah,
smart.
he used the redstone to teach coding. Bob Irving, he's so amazing. Still friends with him. Hi Bob, if you're listening to the pod.
We
And
love Bob.
thanks Bob. But yeah, I've been playing Minecraft ever since, and yeah, I stopped for a few years. I think it was like in high school I just got so busy. But yeah, I got back into it, and I was like, there are frogs now. And
Yeah.
yeah, so then I got one
And
tattooed.
those are the updates I keep missing. I feel like they keep getting new animals and new bad guys and like,
New
mobs,
bad
but
guys.
yeah, mobs. I am a gamer. I am a gamer.
No, have you should get back into it. It's actually wild now. There's like
Okay.
there's villagers, now there's pillagers, and
I have seen the pillagers.
they are so annoying. Oh my gosh. I play Minecraft to unwind in the evenings, and I have a world I built in this cherry blossom biome. By the way, new biomes.
Ooh.
They're so pretty.
I'm
There's like
excited for those.
there's little particles. They're coming out with, I don't know if you knew that you could put shaders, like mods and
Yeah.
shaders on worlds. They're coming
Yeah.
out with essentially a shader for the game where you can turn on vibrant mode, I think, or I forget what it's called, but they have like vibrant shaders where you can get shadow and like sunset and reflections.
Okay, since we're already on Minecraft, I have a
Oh
question.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So I started playing when 1.6 came out, and I continued.
That's early.
It's pretty early.
Yeah.
Like the Mesa was like a new thing, and everyone was
Oh
excited for
yeah.
colored clay and stuff.
Yeah.
And I continued playing until like 1.10 came out, but because most mods were compatible with 1.8, that is like my bread and butter for Minecraft. And I'm wondering if there's like a new standard for like where all the mods are. Like what version are all the good mods on?
I
If you know.
wonder. Oof, I don't know. I feel like I don't even know what version they're on now. I stopped keeping track. They just had Minecraft Live
Yeah.
a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I love Agnes. I love their little team because they're all Swedish and they all have their cute little accents as they talk about the new
Yeah.
features. So I love watching that. Agnes, they were just talking about how instead of having one or two major updates a year, they're now going to have smaller updates throughout the year, which I get. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I love the buildup of having like starting a new world. Like I'll start a new world when they do a huge update. Like
Yeah.
when they did Caves and Cliffs, I started a world and I called it like Caves and Cliffs Survival, where where I had all the new features, and I I know that you can go on like chunk loaders
Mhm.
online and clear out parts of your world when there's an update, but like I've explored it. I'm not doing it again, guys.
Yeah, I feel like the
Yeah.
beginning of the game is like the funnest to do because you you get to relive it every time. It's nostalgic.
It is. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you agree. We're
Yeah.
probably similar players, but yeah, it's peaceful mode for me. I don't have time for mobs. I like I'll start a new world and I'm like, I just made a world. I called it Survival of the Thickest. I did THICCEST. And I was like, guys, I'm gonna do it. I always say to myself, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat the Ender Dragon. I'm gonna do the game for real this time. And then about 5 minutes in, I hear a and I
Oh,
go, nope,
the sounds are the worst. The sounds are
nope,
just awful.
nope. Yeah.
The I have a funny story. The first time I
Yeah.
ever opened Minecraft, it
Yeah.
spawned me in the middle of the ocean and I was just surrounded by squids. And I was like, is this how the game is
Not
supposed to
hostile.
be? It wasn't hostile. It wasn't like I was dying or anything, but there was just no land around me. And I'm like, okay, surely this isn't like, is this how it would
Oh,
work? So I loaded up a new world and then it was normal. And I
yeah.
was like, okay, that is weird.
I love how Minecraft was like, welcome to the game. We're drowning you.
Literally, like no resources for you. And then
Yeah.
I think I punched a squid and it made, I was, I saw the
Oh.
ink and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'll have
Yeah.
to wait for my friends to get on so they can tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. No, yeah, instantly I'll start a world and I'm like, guys, I'm doing it for real. And then as soon as I go into a cave and I hear like the spider or like the
Hmm.
skeleton, like, clunk, clunk, I'm just like, okay, no, thank you guys. I'll
I'm
be
good with
leaving.
most mobs. I'm like I'll play on medium, but I hate when I've got good stuff like I have enchanted armor and I don't want to lose it. It's like when there's actual
Right.
stakes, when there are
Right.
stakes to dying, then I'm like, maybe I should put it on easy mode. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, instantly go.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm like fighting the Ender Dragon or something.
Instantly
So
on peaceful. If I have to go to the nether, I'm not, nope, we're not doing it, guys. Absolutely not. We're not doing it. But yeah, I have to, and then yeah, I'll like turn it on if I need a mob. I'll turn it
Mhm.
on. Like if I need blaze rods or something, I'll go to the nether and I'll turn it on so I can do potions. But yeah, have yet to beat the Ender Dragon, have been playing for, oh my God, almost 15 years.
You know what?
That's crazy.
I think when you hit your 100th episode of the podcast, we should just have a
We should do a stream beat
we
the
should
Ender
do it.
Dragon.
Graphic designers fight the Ender Dragon.
Graphic designers. Oh my gosh. No, I'm a gamer girl. Do you play any other games? I recently beat Hades and that was really
Oh,
fun.
I have Hades, but I have not had the time to play it. I have no excuse right now because I
Mhm.
am job hunting, so I'm just spending a lot of time on the 36 days and
Yeah.
also I've been obsessed with Infinity Nikki. And
Oh.
I'm usually like I grew up a tomboy, like girly games were
Mhm.
never my thing. But there's just something so nice about playing a game that was designed for your gender because the humor in it and the characters and like the emotional arcs are so like it this is not made for men and they know their audience and they are not trying to like please everyone and I love
Yeah.
that.
Character development for women in a game.
And
We love to
not
see
just
it.
women. So like Nikki is kind of like Barbie. She's good at everything,
Mhm.
but she doesn't just help the characters by like solving the problem. She also helps them like through their emotions. So like she's like a therapist. So like
I love that.
they'll have a literal problem. They'll be like, "Oh, these people went missing and we need to find them and we need to save them." And then you go and save the people and then you're like, "Wow, you were imprisoned. Are you guys okay?" Like you don't just solve the problem. You actually like help them.
They're like, you help them with the PTSD and the trauma therapy
Yes.
after.
And Nikki is
Wow.
they had a you can't play this anymore because it has events that are temporary, but there
Yeah.
was this guy who was dealing with like some trauma from his childhood and she like
Yeah.
helped him through that and it was really cool.
Wow.
And he
So
was like a
yeah.
minor character.
So wow. So somebody that was literally somebody watching a video game going, wow, that's fucked up. And like
Yeah.
they should go to therapy. And someone was like, bing.
Our
I love
main
that.
character will actually talk you through your feelings. And she has such
I
like
love
nice
that.
dialogue cuz sometimes she'll be like, "It's okay. You don't have to talk about it if you want to, but I want you to know that I'm here for you." And like stuff like that. And it's just like,
Oh
"I
my
want someone to talk to me like this."
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. No, I feel like first of all, I love talking to another gamer girl. I will say it does get irritating for me. an instant turn off. I will stop playing and return the game if like some girl comes on screen in a video game made by an entirely male team and it's like she's got big tits and she's like, "Come on, guys, I'm out. I'm out."
I see. I grew up watching anime, so I'm just so desensitized to it. I have
Yeah.
no like. I just realized, some things are not designed for everyone, but I'm willing to go through the stuff that's clearly like for the guys to
Yeah.
see if there's something there because there's
Anime's
a
different though.
it's not that different. Like if you think about it, games, I think now girls are playing video games like just as much as boys because there was a statistic a few
Yeah.
years ago that was like, what is the toy that you buy the most for kids at
Mhm.
Christmas? And it used to be video games for boys and like dolls for girls, and then eventually it was video games for both genders. So I think we're finally seeing like a change in entertainment,
Yeah.
and I think it was the same for anime. Like, I grew up watching Dragon Ball and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
and all of that, and I found the stuff that was like, there's action, but there's also a love triangle. So like my favorite anime is Inuyasha, and I think there's a ton of diversity in anime now. There's like a
Mhm.
genre for everything, and I think
Yeah.
it's the same for video games.
I think so too. No, I love that and I that's so amazing. I'll have to like try to find that statistic about girls being gifted video games now,
Hmm.
which I just love. I mean, I was the older sister, so I have one younger sibling. Um,
Same.
love that. Love. I feel like two is a great number. That's like a topic for a different
Yeah,
day. But
we
yeah,
we don't outnumber the parents.
no. If you have more than two, you have to move to a zone defense, and I
Yep.
think it works that well. But yeah, no. I had one younger sibling, and they were male identifying at the time, so like they would get all the Lego sets, and I remember like they weren't super into building Lego, and so like I would sit and build their Lego for them, and then just like hand it off when I was done. And
Yeah.
I'm a Lego adult now. I'm a proud Lego adult. Um, I always get them as gifts now. I have a tuxedo cat. His name's Gomez, and we have on our wedding registry the Lego tuxedo cat now that comes with different eye colors and little
Nice.
accessories.
I love that. And it's funny that you mentioned Legos because like one of my favorite feminists always points out that we give little girls like children another
Mm-hmm.
child to take care of, and then we give boys something to build because they're supposed to grow up to be the providers,
Yup.
and girls are
Yup.
supposed to grow up to be nurturers, and I think that's so funny.
And then the ones of us who are creatives now, I mean, I don't know about you, my Barbies, I scalped them. I gave them hairdos, but then also I had like you can totally tell why an art director now. Because I enjoy directing things. I remember in my dollhouses, I combined like Polly Pocket and Barbies, and I put them through the ringer. It was like
Yep.
a reality TV show. There were divorces, there were surprise pregnancies. Some all the women went to work during the day, and now looking back, I'm like, oh, work queen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, we give those toys to young girls, and then the boys we give like the building and
Yeah.
we give the girls like the here's your little like tea set and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm enjoying that shift. I do think now, speaking of child rearing, one of the and this is a nice segue. One of the questions I had sent you in advance was this beige wave of just no color. Right now we're in this era of like mocha mousse. I love Pantone. Pantone, love you. Hi, please sponsor the pod. But what the fuck with mocha mousse? I'm so sick of this just beige wave. It's all brown. I'm seeing these tiny little kids dressed in this like utilitarian, like these utilitarian smocks. All these kids are in now, and they're like grays and beiges. And like, could we have some personality? Could we have some color?
I will say, I do not personally know any parents who are dressing their babies in beige,
Well, you
but
have good friends then.
yeah, no, they like, if anything, they're giving them like little baby Yoda hats and like,
Love that.
surface patterns,
I
whatever
love that.
they think is cute is what's going on the kid. But
That's
like,
good.
for instance, like the wall behind you, it has this beautiful bright orange and then all these white accents, black frames.
Yeah.
And that's what the neutrals are for. They're to complement the pop of color.
Yeah.
And I think it's a safe option for people who are not creatives to just lean into the neutrals. That way, whatever they have that isn't, they can just like throw wherever. So
That, very that.
I don't know if people are just like more insecure about their interior design or their clothing. Like I think we're in a very like judgmental space with social media, so maybe that's what's happening. I really don't know.
I blame, it's not their fault entirely, but I don't know if you're a reality TV watcher. I used to be ashamed of it. Now I'm kind of owning it that I watch Love is Blind and the Kardashians. I started watching both ironically, and now I tune in. I tune in every week. But yeah, I blame the Kardashians because have you seen their houses? It's all like hard,
Mm.
like marble, hard edges. It's like, again, that word utilitarian. It's like just very flat. It's cold, it's hard, and like the boucle trend. Everybody has like the white boucle couch. And I do think you are 100% right. It's for people who are insecure with their design, with their taste. I think some people are like, "Oh, I don't know what to put on my walls, so like let's just everything will match if it's beige or everything will match if it's black or white." That was something like when I met my
Yeah.
fiance, like all of his furniture was black, which fine, it
That's a
made it look
guy
good
thing
together.
too. That's a
It's a
guy
guy
thing.
thing. And he was
Yeah.
like, and I remember he was like, "Oh no, like I love like design and like I want you to help me pick furniture," because he was like, "I just don't know what goes together." And I
Hmm.
like, let's just encourage some color. Like if you want to do like I have this IKEA, it was like a $25 black and white rug. And then I popped like a bright yellow ottoman on top of it. And just like, let's have some color, people.
I don't know as a gamer girl if you're a fan of the YouTube channel Game Theory, but they, yeah. I love them.
Yes.
I love them. So they
Yeah.
have a spin-off channel called Style Theory, and they did an
Oh,
episode on rich people and how there are two different like ways that rich people dress. One of them
yeah.
is very like, here's the brand. I'm decked out in designer brands, Gucci, you know, just like labels everywhere. No, I'm not even kidding. They
Gucci,
showed
Coach,
Gucci, Coach, yeah,
Mew Mew. Yeah.
Calvin Klein, you know, whatever. They are clearly like showing off the money. They're like, hey, I'm new money. I can afford this.
Yeah.
And then there's old money celebrities, and they are dressed very down. They look like they're wearing just normal clothes. But if you look into it, like that beige coat that
Oh, it's
Gwyneth,
$3,000.
Gwyneth Paltrow is wearing. Yeah, it's
It's
like
$3,000.
designed by this really exclusive man from Italy that you know
Yeah.
you have to be on a wait list for 10 years to, you know, get a coat by him
Oh
or
yeah.
something. So they did an episode on that and I highly recommend it. I think
I I will watch it. I did not know they had a style theory. Oh my gosh, thank you.
yeah,
I'm actually writing that down.
and it is
Oh my
hosted
god.
by Amy, if you're familiar with
Love
Amy.
her. Yeah, I was
So
so sad when
yeah,
Matt Pat left, but at the same time I have enjoyed seeing I feel like Try Guys did a
he
similar
did it
thing.
he did it right. He
I
did it
think he
right.
did.
And like that's something that like I will say I wish that the 36 Days of Type had kind of done because they built this whole legacy, and the Instagram reasoning felt like a very like my way or the highway kind of situation because they did it for 10 years. I'm sure the platform went through many changes over the
Yeah.
course of that
Oh,
time.
Instagram. Yeah, 10 years ago. We all
Yeah.
used like the Mayfair, like the different filters, and we posted pictures of our drinks and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like if they just came out and said that they don't want to do it anymore, I totally respect that. Like
Yeah.
it's probably been an exhausting, you know,
Oh,
time.
yeah. I have to empathize with them too because when you have so many followers, I mean, we have
Mhm.
like my account, like you called it a big account and like, wow, oh my gosh, thank you. But like in comparison to some of these ones where there's like, I mean, they have close to a 500,000 followers. So you have to think about the pressure that comes with that. And I really
Yeah.
empathize with having these algorithm changes and then, oh my God, we have over 400,000 people who are looking at us. And so I almost wonder like, if that was one of the reasons for it, but there were like other personal reasons they didn't want to share. So obviously, like benefit of the doubt, I'm really just happy that people like you, I mean, have been able to continue making it every year. I love getting to see the work and the creativity. I like it's one of the best parts of my day, like getting all the tags and seeing all the new pieces. So I'm glad at
Yeah.
least that we've all been able to continue doing it.
And I certainly, like, I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it. Like, funny story, I used to hate typography. I had a teacher who just, like, I didn't
Mm.
like it kind of because of them. And then
Teachers
I
will
had
do
a,
that to you. Teachers will make you
yeah,
hate or
yeah,
love a
for sure.
subject.
For sure. And then the next typography teacher that I had was so forgiving because I kid you not, like the first assignment we had to turn in, I did not have it. I had not started. And she was like, okay,
Love
just bring
that.
it to me tomorrow. So I rushed it and like turned it in, and I think I got a C on it. And then I continuously had problems. Like I was still figuring out the school that I was in, so I
Yeah.
didn't quite understand how it worked. So she was very like forgiving. And then the final project that I had for her, it won multiple awards and was published in a book.
Gosh.
And I was like, that did not make me love typography overnight, but I was like, okay, you know, clearly, um,
It's like a new art
her
form.
her giving me like creative freedom to do what I wanted, because I even had to ask her, I was like, hey, the assignment said to do this, but can I do that? And she was like, yeah, go for it. And then, you know, it won a bunch of awards,
Yeah.
and she was a great teacher. And shout out to Veronica Vaughn. Like, you know,
Love
fantastic. I
that.
only had her for that one class, but
That's all it takes. I have shout out to
yeah.
Tracy Agostarola. She was my professor at Temple. I had her for one single typography course, and
Mhm.
I would say that is very much a reason why I do so much type now. I think that was the year I started 36 days of type, or I had started it a year before and then did it during that class. And I love her. Love our type teachers.
Love them. Love all the teachers who try. All the teachers who try. They know
Yeah.
the responsibility that they have, the impact that they can have on a student.
And I think that art teachers, I've been very fortunate. I have not had a bad art teacher in
That's
my like
good.
high school college career. I've had all lovely art teachers. And what I loved about the advertising program I was in was a lot of these professors, I mean, it's a bachelor's, maybe a master's degree that they have, but like my favorite art professor, Deborah Cano, she 30 plus years in the business. And like I love the adjunct professors who came in with this industry knowledge. I mean, I had somebody, his name was Andy Mers. I say was like he's dead. He's alive. Oh my God. Hi, Andy. He was my intro to advertising professor. And I think he easily had like 30, 40 years experience. And I feel like you learn the most from those people in the industry. And I think that college, I don't know how you feel about higher education. I think that it's like great to set yourself up for like being a lifelong learner. But at the
I
same time, I think that there's like such a financial aspect. That's like definitely a different podcast subject. But if you want to talk about
I
higher ed for a minute,
I'll keep my opinion on it brief because I have a very strong, like,
yeah,
affordable education is like my cause. Like, that is
yeah,
something that I care very deeply about. And I think if you have the opportunity, try to make the most of it to go to college.
yeah,
If you don't know what you want to do yet, you know, postpone it. You don't have to go to college right away.
yeah.
It's a huge financial burden for you to change your major 3 times and spend a lot of money. And
They
then
come to you at
three,
18 and they go, "Hey, take out this
yeah.
$100,000 loan.
Would you like
Thanks."
to buy a house and not realize it and then be locked in for
Yeah.
life, you know?
Sign on the dotted line. Thank you.
Hmm. And hopefully policy changes will eventually, you know, touch on that for the better.
Not with this
But
administration.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, hopefully
Yeah.
one day. But you know, me getting into like lettering, that's completely self-taught. It's
Yeah.
never too late to try and learn something new. I started lettering, I think 2 years ago. 2 years
Yeah.
ago, and I made a lot of progress just by studying the people that I admire. And that has been like the bridge to liking typography because lettering is a bit
Mhm.
more illustrative, and I've always loved illustrating. So that has been like the gateway for me to like typography now.
I love that. Yeah, I think my thoughts on higher ed are, yeah, again, super expensive. To only go if you need to. Like my friend who did my tattoos, I think she did an associate's and then like just went into an apprenticeship because some careers don't need it.
Yeah.
Some careers
And
just don't need it, and like that's okay.
it also depends on where you are because I know someone who saw how expensive it was to become a tattoo artist where she lived, and she manually like called every tattoo shop she could until she found an apprenticeship that didn't require the schooling.
Mhm.
But she also built like a portfolio by like buying
Yeah.
the little like skin things and drawing on them and
Yeah.
stuff. And I have a friend who lives in Rhode Island, and she has wanted to be a tattoo artist for the past 10 years.
Oh
And
my
she's
gosh.
she's been trying to save the money to go to the place that's located near her, and still can't afford it. And I feel like my heart goes out to her. I wish that I like made
Yeah.
enough money to just pay for her to go to the freaking school. But, it's just, not everyone has the same opportunities. And that's why
Yeah.
I try not to speak badly about my education, because there's definitely things that could have been better. But I also could not have a bachelor's degree when I apply for jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the same boat. I wanted to work on my craft. I wanted to be a well-rounded student. I enjoyed academia. Like I enjoyed the structure. I was very type A, and so I really wanted to college. I really wanted to college.
Me too.
Yeah, I really wanted to college, guys. No, I really wanted to go to school. Higher ed was important to me. It was really important to I think my parents a lot because my grandfather was an immigrant, and I have immigrants on both sides, Italian and German, so all the great people in World War II. Um, but they come over, and I feel like when you know your grandparents are immigrants, when you have immigrants in your family, I feel like there's a big emphasis on achievement and education. And so
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for, being in the family that I'm in and having that push to go to school. I definitely don't think it's needed for everyone, though. I think that there
No.
is an unnecessary push, and I feel like our culture really rewards people with degrees. And I've worked with some really lovely people who don't have degrees or have gotten degrees in their 40s or 50s. And I think there's just such this push to like, you have to use your 20s and you have to go to school and get a job and build a career. And you only have these 10 years to do it because then no one's going to hire you and like you die when you're 30. So I'm,
Yeah.
those are my thoughts on higher ed.
And I think a lot of the people saying that are older and don't work in the industry.
Yeah.
And if you talk to the people who are, art directors and in positions like yours, who are creative directors, they
Yeah.
will tell you, I do not care. I want to see your work. I want to know what you can
Yeah.
do. And there are plenty of people out there who are proudly saying, I am self-taught, and more power to them. Knowledge, I think the older generation doesn't quite understand how accessible knowledge is now, because, for
Yeah.
instance, I graduated 5 years ago, and I have bought so many courses from my favorite
Yeah.
artists, and I'm slowly like working my way through them. And so many people went to the fabulous school of YouTube,
For, yeah.
and they do fantastic work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
that's
me
how that's
YouTube.
how
Oh
I
my God.
learned lettering.
Yeah, me YouTube in the 2010s learning how to do my makeup. How to do
Yeah,
winged eyeliner.
I'm
2012
still
me. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I can't do winged
Yeah.
eyeliner.
No, I love that, and that's such a good point. I wanted to mention that earlier and I like forgot, but I we have so much information just at our fingertips now. And something
Yeah.
that I liked about college was learning how to access and kind of parse through that information and find reliable sources and kind of I feel like media literacy was one of the best courses I took in college. Um, I feel like that's so important and something that not a lot of people have right now, especially with AI. Like we're
Oh my
seeing right now,
goodness.
oh my gosh, don't even get me started. I had somebody the other day. You talked about being self-taught and learning from other people, and I did
Yeah.
that too. And a big way artists learn is through copying. A
Yeah.
big way that we learn is like putting up a tutorial and copying exactly what somebody does. And I had somebody on Threads the other day say, well, AI, I mean, you're no better than AI. I mean, you copy other people's work. Like somebody pointed to the
They
Wes Anderson letters I was doing. They were like, or didn't you steal that color palette? And it's like, art is so much interpretation. You can say that there's nothing new under the sun, or you can say that there's like an infinite amount of possibilities with artwork.
and to those people, I have two things to say. They
Go for it.
don't understand the concept of a mental library,
Yep.
because I can draw a hand 100 times from studying real hands, and then I can spit something out original.
Yep.
And two, if you told me to recreate like some of the letters that other people created, the thing that I draw is going to be different than what they drew, because we cannot one for one copy someone else's work. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
Even the people out there who are professionally paid to like, what is it, to paint like the master's painting and create a recreation.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but there's a term for it. They are creating, replicas.
Yeah.
It is so hard to do every stroke of paint exactly the same way. And that's why I
Yeah.
love draw this in your style challenges, because
Yes.
it's so easy for an artist to like take someone else's idea and put their own spin on it, because it's so much harder to try and recreate it exactly as it was.
That's so true. And we're seeing it now with there was, oh my God, all the brands that went and did the generate a doll, like generate yourself
Yeah.
as a doll. And what I love about this online art community is the number of people who went, "Oh, I'm not using AI. Here's my doll drawn in my style."
And they're
And
so good.
they're so good. I
They're
love
so
seeing them.
good.
Oh my gosh, no, I love seeing them. I will look on threads and my feed is now all of these, draw like no AI, hashtag no AI. I love seeing it. And I think, my opinion about AI, obviously all of our opinions are a little more nuanced than like, oh no, never use it. I use it all the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm trying really hard on threads and in the things I post on Instagram to not be like absolute about it. Like, no, AI is horrible. It's amazing. I think
Yeah.
that obviously, like, I think my nuanced opinion about it is that like I'm required to use it for work. I think that industries like healthcare have been using AI for years to predict, what comorbidities you have and what illnesses you're more likely to have and flag things like health conditions, when you get blood work. And so I think for many fields it's very beneficial. But I saw a post about a year ago and I wish I knew who posted it, but this is like, I think it broke down my feelings about AI perfectly. The post was, I want, I don't want AI to make my art so I can do my laundry and dishes. I want AI to
Yeah.
do my laundry and dishes so I can make art. And
Yes.
that's like, that perfectly sums up what I feel about AI right now.
Yeah. So it's a tool. And
Yep.
this was initially hard for me to wrap my head around, because at the start of AI, I just saw so much disrespect in the community. I saw, a lot of big corporations laying people off,
Yeah.
and people are being impacted by this in a negative
Yeah.
way. And I think the people online who are like, haha, I'm taking your job because I'm doing this thing, it's just disrespect. It's disrespect. And obviously, I have no patience for that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to AI, for instance, there's this stray cat that me and my boyfriend love. And he used AI to write a little song about this stray cat that we love. And because he gave it details about the cat, it was a very personalized thing. It was an inside joke that we both caught. Now, do you think that my boyfriend was going to go out and hire a songwriter to write a song about this cat? No, he used
Yeah.
it for fun. Just like people making the memes out of AI, like they're doing it for fun. They're not doing it for like mass profits. And the people who are using AI to make cheap print on demand stuff are the same people who probably steal from artists to do the
Oh,
same thing.
they were doing it before
Yeah,
AI. They're going to be doing it
yeah,
after.
exactly, exactly. And I think you and I both agree that it is oversaturating the market with a cheap product right now. And eventually, society is going to catch up and realize
Yep.
we actually want to make something, personal. We want to make something good. We want to make something that is high quality. And like, if we are automating everything and we're getting rid of all these manual labor jobs, eventually, I think human creativity and personal services like therapy and like personal trainers, like all the human based things are gonna be what's left
Yeah. No, I
when
agree
we
100%.
yeah.
I think that one of my copy partners, he said a while ago, like, as scary as AI is for creatives, the ones who like are open to embracing it, like maybe in the back end, are
Mm-hmm.
gonna thrive. And also, and this has stuck with me too about AI, he was like, I think that this oversaturation, I think all these AI images will actually have this effect where it pushes people to want traditional art more. I think people
Yeah.
are going to get tired of seeing. I mean, and you can tell. We saw it with the doll
Yeah.
challenge when a brand used it. And like, by the way, I went and hated on the brands like OPI who could afford to hire an artist but didn't.
Yep.
The people who are
Hmm.
using it for fun, like as you said, obviously, like if you want to write a little song for your cat and you're not a songwriter, like if you want to put some words to a beat, that's one thing. But all these brands who were making them, I mean, you can tell that it's AI. And I really love Trixie Cosmetics posted it today. I don't know how you feel about drag queens. I love Trixie Mattel. Trixie Cosmetics posted they hired their graphic designer to do like a Trixie doll like illustration with all the little accoutrements. So I love seeing that. And again, I was just, it made my heart so happy to see all the artists who did it in their own style. And then people
Hmm.
too, I know Women of Type and a few other people did it, but I know Jess did like offering the templates for people who are not as artistically able to make them. So I love that. And I think that when we see these AI trends come out, the reaction from the art community gives me so much hope that we are going to be bigger than AI and people are going to value traditional art more because
Yeah.
AI has really oversaturated the online space.
And to go back to motion, have you
Yeah.
seen the movie Flow?
I have. That was done all in Blender, wasn't it?
It was done all in Blender. And
I love
fun
that.
fact, it was done in like the less polished renderer. I think it was
Yeah.
rendered in Eevee instead of Cycles,
Yeah.
which is just like bold move. Love it. So I have had really like bad feelings about Hollywood lately. I just feel like a lot of the movies coming out, I can't prove that they were written by AI, but a lot of movies have just they aren't hitting me in the feels. I'm just not a fan. I
Yeah.
am seeing less and less movies that I want to go see. And I think like it's one of my dreams to go work for Disney, but I think they are financially being impacted
Yeah.
by people not enjoying their stuff as much, and hopefully they will realize that they really need to one do more pre-production and like make sure that they have a good thing before they make the movie and then have to like remake the entire movie, blowing the
Yeah.
budget to do that. But like just invest in a good writer. And then like the Blender movie Flow showed
Yeah.
us that if you really put the creativity into the work, you can make something really good on a low budget. So that movie was made with
Yeah.
like I think $1 million budget, and it has significantly made more money
Oh, no
and won
kidding.
so
Award
many
winning.
awards.
Yeah.
Award winning. Yeah, and it's fantastic. And fun fact for anyone out there who is a fan of this movie, there was a short film made years ago, and I saw it a long, long time ago, and I only realized recently that it's made by the same guy. He took that
Oh my gosh.
adorable 2D animated short film and made it into a fully fleshed 3D film.
I
So
love that.
if you want to go find that, it's a really fun like see where it is now kind of
Do you have the
thing.
name? Or was it the same name?
I let me double check real quick. Let me fact check that.
Hey guys, yeah. If you guys see us looking to the side, we're looking at our monitors. We'll live fact check ourselves.
Yes, Aqua in 2012 it came out.
I love that. I'm gonna look it up too. Aqua movie.
And
Oh,
it's
it's
really,
bringing up like it's bringing up stuff that is not Aqua.
let me look up the image of Aqua. Yeah, so can you
Yeah.
share photos in this?
I
Or
can in post.
can I
I
show
can
you
in
my
post.
screen?
You can. I think you can share your screen. Or if
Okay.
not, you can
Let
send me the link and I'll
me
put it up because I can share my screen. Hey guys, can you see me projecting? There we
Okay.
go.
I'm projecting. This is what the little cat looks like in the original short film.
Oh my
It's just
gosh, he's so
it
kawaii. He's like,
yeah. Fun fact, a lot of people think that anime characters are based on cats by the way their face and eyes are shaped. So like this, like gives anime, gives kitty. So yeah, this is
oh
what
my god,
the initial like film
look
looked
at
like. It was
that.
just little blobby doodles,
And
and
like I
it's
was
super
saying
cute.
before, it's so cool seeing how people's styles evolve. Like that was 2012 and then very different But you can
Very
see the
different.
style. You can see like the composition and the colors used. You can see how that
Yeah.
translates to the current version. I think as artists, we're evolving, but at our core, like maybe the types of colors we pick or the ways that we draw stay very much the same.
Yeah. And here I will stop sharing my
Work
screen.
getting deep on the pod.
Getting deep on the pod, but yeah, like, and another fun fact about that movie, they there's a whole YouTube video on like
Mhm.
all the corners they cut, all
Yeah.
the 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 way that they optimize their pipeline so that
Yeah.
they only hired the people they really needed and still didn't cut quality. So like,
Oh yeah, obviously not.
um I want to say like the main guy who created it, he like made these animatic, like he skipped like sketching, like storyboarding, and I love storyboarders, but he essentially, because it's a 3D movie, he just skipped straight to the 3D so that they only animated
Oh
the
wow.
camera angles that they were going to use. Which I think, like, if I
Oh.
were going to make a 3D movie, that's 100% what I would do.
Yeah, I kind of, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like storyboarding is such an integral part about pre-production. I know at
Yeah.
least, I mean, we both have worked in advertising. I work in advertising now, and we need those storyboards. We
Hmm.
really need them at least to work with our copy partners and, work with our writers. But I
And
think that's interesting.
I think he already had the concept pretty fleshed out because like I said, it was a short form before, a short film before this. It was a short film back in
Mhm.
2012.
Yeah.
And so I think the creator just had such like, he had such a solid idea of what it would be that he went ahead and just like got all the camera angles, and the model was there but it was not animated, so he's just like sliding on screen like during like the chase scenes and stuff.
Love that.
And it's just really fast. I just think he thought about what he needed and what he could do with the budget he had and still made something incredible.
And isn't that really the coolest part about art? I feel like when the budget's small, when you have a really tough problem to solve, I feel like we come up with the best work. I think that's what's so beautiful about all of these challenges, like the lettering style challenge, drawing your own style. When we have months like
the
Mermay.
time the time constraint, because money is not our
Hmm.
only currency. Time is our most
Yep.
valuable currency.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah,
Wow,
you can't
Monica.
you can't buy more time.
Wow, that's so true.
That's and
Let's just, yeah,
that's why we all deserve PTO.
let's just let that sit in the air for a minute. Let's just let that sit. Wow.
Yeah.
You can't, you can't buy more time.
As a wise man said, you only live once.
As, as like hype man 69 underscore 421 said, YOLO.
Yep. Yep.
No, that's, oh my gosh. I'm like looking at flow art on the side of my screen. Just like what a beautiful film. I love that poster. For 36 Days of Type, Carly's edition this year, Wes Anderson was not my original idea. And this is
Oh.
reminding me of this. So my original idea was to do characters from films. So I was going to do like A for Aladdin, maybe do like B Bambi. Like it wasn't going to be all Disney, but I was like, or B for like Bing Bong from Inside Out. But I was going to try to choose like really colorful characters. I felt like it fit with my style. And then I just could not start. I wanted to plan letters ahead and I was just not into the idea. And I thought maybe something else will strike. And I was about to start doing A for Aladdin and I was like, well, this is stupid. And I started just typing A and I had just been searching the cast of Asteroid City and I was like, oh, what if I did like Asteroid City A? And then I was like, what if I did all Wes Anderson instead? And I love Wes Anderson's films. He's got a new one coming out, which I'm very excited about this year. I think
Oh.
it's The Phoenician. I'm going to check myself. I'm going to
I
check
think I've
it.
heard about that.
The Phoenician Scheme. Excuse me, The Phoenician Scheme. But that is coming out soon. I'm very, no, it's not the Phoenician. Yes, it's The Phoenician Scheme. I'm very excited about it. It's coming out. Release date's May 30th. So it is coming out in a little
Ooh.
over a month. But yeah, I saw it was coming out. And I think one of my days might involve a filming location from there. But yeah, I had so much fun coming up with all the days. I'll give a little preview now. I got creative for numbers. So 5 is Troop 55 from Moonrise Kingdom. the Khaki Scouts.
Ooh,
And 3 is Bogus Bunsen Bean because there's 3 of them. So I got creative with the numbers. I'm really excited for it.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was gonna say after we're done recording, I have through Saturday planned, so I'll show you
Nice.
what's coming up because S is like
Ooh, a sneak
my
peek.
favorite thing I've ever done. But by the time this is airing, S will already be out. So, oh my god, yeah, by the
See,
time this airs, S will already be out. I'll pull it up.
oh,
Oh my gosh,
and I'm so anxious about my S
reveal.
right now.
You're anxious about your S? Oh no.
Yeah, the artist sent me a 3D model, and I'm like, okay, I have to learn how to rig this now. Because
Oh
I
my
am definitely a
gosh.
3D amateur, but I'm gonna do it
An
justice.
amateur. An amateur.
Amateur.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, do you want to pick a letter? S is like the best thing I've ever done ever, but you can pick another letter. I have P, Q, R, or no, so Q, R, and S.
Well, you've hyped up this S, so I have to
I've hyped up this
know.
S. I did. Let's see if it comes up. I did.
Oh,
Can you tell what it is, or do I have to say?
I don't know if I'm familiar enough with Wes Anderson.
It's from Moonrise Kingdom. I did Susie and
Okay,
Sam,
I
the
don't
two
know if
main
I've seen.
characters. I can
Let me
pull up.
look.
Let's see. I had reference pictures up. This is like a fun little behind the scenes that I'll do. But
Mm,
I pull up reference photos. So this is kind of what my board looks like as I'm working. But that's Susie and Sam. So for the drop shadow, I did Sam's character, Sam Shakusky, and then Susie Bishop, I did the top. And you can see like her little hat and his scarf. And
mhm.
it's my favorite thing I've ever done. Fun fact, the
I
actor
love
who
that.
plays Sam, Jared Gilman, he commented on my M for Moonrise Kingdom, and I
Oh my gosh,
lost my shit.
you have to tag him in that.
Oh my god, I am. So I've tagged him. So it's actually so funny because I think it's his girlfriend. I don't want to misspeak. It's somebody related to him was like, "Hey, at Jared Gilman," and I didn't recognize the name at first because his username is not his exact name. I think it's like Garrett Gilman or like something switched. But at first I saw the artist. Well, I saw this artist and like his friend has,
Mhm.
I think his girlfriend has like 180 something thousand followers. So I was like, oh my gosh, this really cool artist likes my work. And he comments and he's like, oh my gosh, hey, this is cool. And so I just reacted with like the little like heart emojis. And then a couple days later, I was like, that name sounds familiar. And I went and looked at it and I lost my shit.
Yeah. Yeah, as you should.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was so exciting. I've had a couple of those moments for I did a D last year. I did a donut D for my food alphabet and Dunkin' Donuts commented.
Dunkin' Donuts, sponsor the pod.
Dunkin' Donuts sponsor the pod. Oh my god, yeah. If you can't tell by the everything about me, we're not. I have people reach out. It's like those kind of like janky collaborations. They're like, "Hey, we want to send you a treadmill," and I'm like, "Do I
Hmm.
look like I have a room in my life for a treadmill? Send me
Right,
food or art
right.
supplies, thank you."
Yep, yep. I've only had like the weird scammy like, hey, we make jewelry. Can you make videos wearing our jewelry? And I'm like, do you see my page? Like, am
They
I
go,
am
"Yeah."
I on my page?
I love it when they're like, "Hey, we send you jewelry. We give you a discount on it, so you have to buy it and you have to post."
Okay,
Girl.
I had an Upwork experience. Now I like
Oh
Upwork.
no.
I do use Upwork to get freelance work
Okay.
sometimes. And I had this guy reach out to me. He wanted me to do some like product photography for this snack that he has that I can just like go to the store and buy. And he said, "So I'm gonna pay you this much money, and I'm not gonna say how much it was because it's just insulting.
Go ahead, say
I'm
it.
gonna
No, say it.
okay,
You're not
I'm
saying who
gonna
it
pay you
is.
okay. I'm gonna pay you $20 to take the photo. And then I'm also going to compensate you for going and buying the product. But you're only going to be compensated after you do the work and I approve the photography and whatever." And I told him, bare minimum, I need you to pay my Adobe subscription, like bare minimum. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I can do that." And I was like, "Hey, I'll even throw in some animation. You can use it on like a social media
Oh,
campaign, blah,
you
blah,
poor
blah."
thing.
And he was just like, "Yeah, no, it's $45 like minimum." And I was like, "Okay, bye." Okay, bye.
That is unhinged. I Yeah, some people who appreciate art, they know. I
Well,
was at
they
an
don't.
art fair once and like I was at an art fair and I heard there was a live tattoo artist and an artist talking to each other, and my booth was right next to theirs. And she was like, "Yeah, I sold one thing today." And the tattoo artist was like, "Oh my gosh, that's worth like at least 100. Please don't tell me you undercharged for that." And she was like, "Yep, sold it for 25." And they just the sound in her voice. I like at that
She
art
knew.
fair,
She
we
knew.
all know that we undercharge
Yeah.
for our work. And I think we get into this like snake eating its own tail situation where like, or I guess that's not like the chicken, I guess it's more of like a chicken versus egg thing where like
Yeah.
we undercharge for our work and then that person then expects that price from other people. And so we're kind of our own worst enemy, and like we'll undercharge for something and then we kind of have set that bar for that client that in their head they now think that that's the price. So I've seen people like, I used to charge just $500 for a logo, which I mean
Yeah.
more than $20, but
And here's the difference too. Like you have to know your worth
yeah,
first, because they don't know. They don't know that you're this award-winning artist with a bachelor's degree who's worked for multiple, design studios, agencies,
go
whatever.
off, say it,
But
hype yourself up.
yeah, but you know what you're worth. And like this guy, he's on Upwork.
Yeah.
He probably just needed a college student to go and take a photo with their cell phone.
Yeah. Go
Like
take it yourself. Take it
that
yourself,
might
buddy.
that might be what he wanted. That might be all he needed, was just someone who's just trying to get their first couple projects on Upwork, because I do think that is a platform where you have to do like one or two projects under value to get a 5-star rating before you can like really find clients on there.
Oh,
But
absolutely. I quit Upwork. I
yeah,
tried and nobody was I probably set prices too high for my first couple and people were just not doing it. I think at one point I decided to get off those platforms because I offered what was it? $50 for a logo, and I wrote it in and I was like, "Guys, this is absurd. Like just
it
use
is.
Canva." Like I can't, guys. That doesn't even again pay for the Adobe subscription. Like let's talk
Yeah,
about. I don't
at
think
the very
clients
least.
understand how much these software, like these different software and like platforms cost. The Adobe
Yeah.
suite, if you have a subscription, like let's say you want the bare minimum, you want Photoshop, Illustrator, and Design. We're looking at, I mean, for a student, maybe 45-50 a month, but like I feel like I have a subscription for the Adobe suite. I mean, luckily I get it through work, but if I'm ever between gigs and when I was out of school at first, I mean, it's like $100 plus for
Yeah.
an Adobe subscription per month.
When when I was a student, it was $30, and now it's $65 on the dot every month.
Yeah. Which is too, I mean, we're getting to the
And
point where
not
it's
even
like
to mention my computer, my drawing tablet, like
the
all like
electricity it takes to
the
place. Yeah.
yeah, the RAM that I need to have to render 3D models.
The RAM. The
The
RAM.
RAM?
The RAM. When people say, "Oh, you can run Adobe stuff on a Windows," and I go, "You can't. Like, you need to give me at least this much RAM, or else I cannot run Photoshop and InDesign at the same time." Which, if you know the Creative Suite, you know that you need to run these programs simultaneously. Like, if you update something and it's a smart object or it's a link in InDesign, you need to be able to update it, and you likely have them open on both screens.
And to add all the traditional artists out there, because it sounds like this person you were talking about was at an art fair. Maybe they sold a painting or
Yeah.
something.
It was a print. It was a print of a painting.
So bare minimum, what did your supplies cost? Just because you didn't use the whole tube of paint doesn't
Yeah.
mean you shouldn't charge for the whole tube of paint, because to make that painting, you had to buy the whole tube of paint.
Yeah, this person
So,
probably spent, and I mean, I don't think people know this too. When you sell at an art fair, I pulled out of an art fair once because they were like, "Yeah, cost for the booth is I think it was 200 or something
yeah.
dollars," and I was like,
It's such an investment.
and I had just done one fair, and I only had two people buy from me, and they were both
Mhm.
followers who were in the area, and I thought like, I don't have the following to be investing this amount, knowing I'm not going to get it back. I was like, I have a very
Yeah.
new setup. I was like, I'm going to lose money if I do this.
And that's why I think people who sell fan art do so well, because while it's illegal, while they should not be profiting off of other people's IP,
Yeah.
that's what people want to buy. They want to buy
Yep.
something that they know. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I had a coworker and she was not thinking about the money at all. She just
Yeah.
like she goes and does these like craft fairs for fun. And she already has her equipment,
Okay.
so she's not like investing in the
That's
equipment every
cool.
time. But like I remember the head of sales was like talking to her and she was like, "Oh wow, that must be like a really cool side hustle for you. Like how much do you make? How much do you profit? How much do you put into it?" And she's like, "I don't know. I just like the fairs. I just have fun." And I'm like, "You can do that. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoy it." And
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh.
she's not monetizing her hobby and still has plenty of joy in
I that's so that's so important to say. I think I think I mentioned that on on my first episode. I try not to monetize every hobby I have. I try to still do 2D art. I went to my fiance, he knits. I went to him and I was like, you could sell the knit stuff you make. And then I went, you know what? As soon as I said it, I said, actually, I take that back. Enjoy it. Enjoy the hobby. And he
it.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to sell it. I don't think I'd enjoy it anymore. And I think that's the case. I mean, I don't know. You probably feel this way, but I won't speak for you. At least for me, I love how much I love my job. I get to be creative all day and I love that, but I need my Minecraft time in the evenings. I think we all need our time to just like do an activity. We're not making any money. We're just doing it for the love of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You're not stressed about it. You're not worried about the result,
Yeah.
making it good enough to,
Yeah.
pitch to someone or sell.
You just spawn in the middle
Uh
of the ocean and you drown.
yeah, yeah,
You start a
exactly.
new world.
And to elaborate on like your boyfriend having
Yeah.
fun, like my boyfriend's mom also knits and crochets and she's
Mhm.
really good at it. And
Yeah.
I know she would sell if she has had the time, but she's still raising kids and she will often give them as gifts. So, for instance, I have like a hat and a scarf and gloves made by her,
Yeah.
and I just think that's really sweet. And in this age of consumerism, it's so nice to receive a handmade gift.
It is.
Yeah.
My fiance does that too. Like he just made for all of our nieces and nephews for Christmas little hats and like one of them just like still wears it around the house all day. And it's just like it's so sweet to see. I just I fiber arts. I love fiber arts. Oh my gosh, I'm hoping to have a fiber artist on. I have a fashion designer from London who is coming on the pod. I'm going to be recording that next. So
Ooh,
tune in. That'll be coming up soon.
so
This has
exciting.
been, oh my gosh, we can of course keep talking, but I was going to say like it's been so wonderful having you on. This has
Thank
been such a fun
you.
conversation. I love that we talked about being gamer girls. That was not
Yeah.
planned. This has just been such a fun talk. And again, thank you so much. You're the first guest on the pod. So, I mean, tell the children, tell the people thoughts on the pod. What was it like being a guest? Kind of help me sell it here.
I loved it. Carly's great, super professional. Definitely prepared me for like what to expect, and I feel like you and I have a lot of similar opinions. So I'm
We
really happy
do.
that we were able to have such an insightful conversation that hopefully helps someone that listens to this.
Yeah, it was so nice. Yeah, are we best friends now?
I mean, we can be.
No, I love no, and I didn't realize I like looked up your LinkedIn because I feel like I know all these people by their Instagram handles, and I went to your website and then I saw it linked to a LinkedIn, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we went to school around the same time. You were what was it, 2016 to 2020?
Yeah, and I would say that was my bachelor degree period because
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 2013.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know if I'm a little older than you, but I was
Just a little bit. I
just
graduated
a
high
little
school
bit.
in 2019.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely I will say this. I am slow and steady, but I don't give up because I
Mhm.
was in community college for 3 years and then I was getting my bachelor's degree for like
Mhm.
4 years, but it's done and I graduated debt free because I was working the whole time. So if
Hell
you
yeah.
yeah, if you feel like you are behind and you're comparing your path to others, just don't do that.
I love that.
You've got time.
I was just about to ask, like, what advice would you give to younger or more junior artists who are just starting out?
Oh, funny story. Adobe Live actually asked me the same thing and posted on their Instagram. The advice that I give everyone do not wait for permission to make the things you want to make. This is something that I did in college. I was trying to make what I thought would get me an A. I was trying to make graphic designs that I thought my teachers wanted to see. I am not a naturally talented graphic designer. I My last semester I started exploring Blender and like grease pencil,
Mhm.
and I had a conversation with my teacher and I was like, I think this is my favorite semester because I just stopped caring and did what I wanted. And he's like, that's what we want you to do. And I was like, well, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. You guys told me the whole time not to illustrate, which I kind of
Yeah.
kind of get because not everyone's good at illustrating, but they don't know you. They don't know what you're good at. You have to show people what you want to do. Otherwise, like for instance, me with my motion design and finally like posting more motion design,
Yeah.
they're not going to know what you can do if you don't show them. So just
That
stop waiting.
there
Just
be
do
that.
it.
That That's such good advice. Thank you for sharing that, Monica. Yeah, show what you got. Don't wait for people to tell you that it's okay to make something because especially if you're in college, no one's going to give you permission. I mean, do what Monica did, which is submit multiple versions of the same assignment. Treat
Yep.
it like your
Yep.
professor is a client. That's wow, such great advice. I wish I could go back and do school with that advice because as an art
Same.
student, how helpful would that be to like give options to a professor and actually get experience of doing
Yep.
client work because it's what you're going to be doing forever if you work in advertising or in any kind of like client driven business.
Yeah, and there's one specific project that I can talk about where my teacher had an idea and he tried to
Yeah.
communicate to me his idea, and I had an idea and I tried to communicate to him my idea, and we both did not get each other's idea.
Yeah.
And I ended up just making his and it was not good because I
Yeah.
didn't know what he was talking about.
That frequently happens.
Yeah.
I'll have that with creative directors. There's definitely a learning curve when you're meeting someone and working with someone who you haven't worked before and you really like you have to find like common language when you're describing art
Mhm.
because just as much as clients don't know what they're talking about when it comes to art, everybody kind of has their own style and their own way of working and you have to figure that out when you're starting working with somebody new.
And that's like why mood boards exist, like show don't tell, like just
Yeah, Pinterest, hi
yeah.
Pinterest, sponsor the pod.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, but Monica, it has been so lovely having you. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Talking Person pod. I'm Carly Civello and I'm a talking person, and I will see y'all next week with another guest.